sifa zako mbele ya watu wote, kwa maana fadhili zako zadumu milele na milele. Amina. Oh, nitaimba sifa zako mbele ya watu wote, nitaimba sifa zako mbele ya watu wote, kwa maana fadhili zako zadumu milele na milele. Amina. Nasema asante kwa Mungu wangu, nasema asante kwa wema wako, kwa maana fadhili zako zadumu milele na milele. Amina. Nasema asante kwa Mungu wangu, nasema asante kwa wema wako, kwa maana fadhili zako zadumu milele na milele. Amina. Nasema asante Baba, nasema asante kwa wema wako. Nakushukuru Baba, nakushukuru wewe, umenitendea makubwa. Nainua jina lako, natukuza jina lako. Unastahili Baba, unastahili kuinuliwa, unastahili sifa na utukufu. Wewe ni wa ajabu. Oh, umenilinda Baba, umeniponya, umeniinua, umenibariki. Oh, haleluya. Jehova Jireh, nakuinua, nasema asante Baba, asante kwa wema wako, nakushukuru. Wewe ni Alfa na Omega, wewe ni mwanzo na ni mwisho, hakuna mwingine Baba. Oh, haleluya. Nakuinua Baba, nakuinua na kutukuza. Asante, fadhili zako ni za milele. Nasema asante kwa wema wako, kwa maana fadhili na milele. Amina. Nasema asante kwa Mungu wangu, nasema asante kwa wema wako, kwa maana fadhili zako zadumu milele na milele. Amina. Nasema asante kwa Mungu wangu, nasema asante kwa wema wako, kwa maana fadhili zako zadumu milele na milele. Amina.
Praise the Lord and good afternoon. It's another afternoon the Lord has given us so that we can fellowship again. And for those of us who've been with us this week, even those who are with us in the morning, you can remember we have been talking about leadership in crisis, this being the men's week. And as we prayed in the morning, we are talking today about finances and investment. And we have our brother with us who is going to introduce himself to us, and then he will tell us more about finances and investment. Welcome, sir. It's good to have you. And thank you so much for coming. Kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. Praise God. My name is Dismas Sagini. I'm a member of PEFA Church, Imu at River. I live around this place, and I'm a businessman. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much. We will dive right into the topic of the day. The topic, of course, as I said, is finances and investment. And I want to ask you the first question. What is personal finance?
In layman's language, personal finance can be said to be the monies that belongs to a family, maybe the husband or a wife, the income that comes out of their employment, their businesses. That's what we can call personal finance. And how you manage the finance is what matters for your future survival.
So before we even go to how you manage this personal finance, so what you're calling personal finance is that money that the family pulls together, whether through a business, a salary, or whatever form of income for family use.
Yes.
That is what you're calling personal finance.
Personal finance.
Okay. Then maybe we can go now to the how to manage this personal finance. Of course, in these days and in this time of COVID-19, everybody everywhere is in one way or another, having a crunch, financial crunch, because of the situation, and everybody is looking at a way of making the best of the little they may be having. So how do we manage this personal finance?
One of the ways of managing personal finance, especially in this crisis, is once you earn your income, once you earn your money, once you have your money in place, don't rush to spend the money. Delay spending the money. Once you delay spending the money, it means now you'll come up with a plan on how you are going to spend the money. Again, you must have a budget on whatever you are going to do. Before you spend the money, come up with a budget, because you might go in for luxuries, which doesn't make sense. Especially in this period, you only need to go for necessities only. Another thing, you try to create multiple ways of earning an income. You can maybe start some small business like a car wash, an M-Pesa shop, a candy shop, whereby you can get some extra money for your survival. Because actually in 2020, it's not about profit, it's about survival.
Okay.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
That's very, very true. I think the main point I've gotten there is delay expenditure.
Yes.
So that you have time to think and to plan and to budget, so that you give or you put your money where it is really needed.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I think the other thing is about, I've had many people talk about financial freedom. It's almost a cliche out there. But is there anything like that, like financial freedom, and what is that? How do I get it?
Financial freedom in real life doesn't really exist. Actually, it's a fallacy.
Okay.
Yeah, what is there is, with the money that you have, you must budget for it properly so that you can meet your basic needs. Once you meet your basic needs, that's what we can call financial freedom. Somebody might be earning billions, and you might be earning some little money somewhere, but you are all happy. When you are happy, that's when we can call you have your financial freedom. Because we don't live in the same class. People live differently because you earn different incomes.
Okay. So financial freedom is a fallacy. It all depends on how you use your money, and how much you get is not the issue. It is how you manage it and how much satisfaction and fulfillment it brings to you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I think that's quite an insight. Let's talk about savings. I think one of the handicaps of most of us, if not all of us, is in savings. Either we lack it, or we don't have it, or we have poor way of saving.
Yeah.
So, how do I ensure that I save? And when do I even start saving? And how much do I even save?
Actually, once you start earning an income, you can start saving immediately. Especially for the young people, once maybe you've gotten some employment, don't wait. Start saving, start budgeting for your money, put the money for necessities aside, and then whatever remains, just keep it for future investment. Because you cannot invest if you cannot save. You have to save. Once you save some money, that's when you can put that same money for investment. If you don't have disposable income, you cannot invest. So you must save. Actually, the money that you save is what we can call disposable income, over and above what you can spend on your basic necessities.
Okay. Now, most people may say, I can't save because I even don't have enough to keep me running the whole month. Sometimes some people say the month is longer than the amount of money they have.
Yes.
Or the money ends before the month ends. How then can such a person save? Is there a way? How do we come from that cycle of hands to mouth, and that's all I have, and before the month is over, I am already in need? How will I ever come out of that problem if I cannot save? And is there hope for such a person?
The problem we have, especially where there is a very high unemployment rate, we don't have especially money which is extra for us to do savings. We can turn to our families, friends, relatives to borrow money to start a business. If you start a small business, especially even if you are unemployed totally, there are several business ideas you can come up with. Then you can ask for friends to finance the idea. Once the idea is financed, you can get some money out of it.
And that means for such a person, if you don't have, one doesn't have friends or relatives who can support or lend some money, then that person, because they are not bankable, there is no bank that can listen to them. So meaning that that's the only way. Is there any other way of them getting themselves off this hook of hands to mouth, always the cycle of lack and poverty, because they can't even save anything? And if someone doesn't have friends or relatives who can support, does that mean that person is damned to be poor for the rest of their life?
Actually, the government has come up with the youth fund, women fund, where these youth can tap into it, where especially women can tap into it. The government has set aside like 30% of anything procurement, whereby women and the youth can tap into it. So, and the funds actually the government has come up with, The only problem maybe we have is the information which these youth and the women don't have. If we inform the youth and the women about the availability of the youth fund, the women fund, they can start small businesses whereby they can borrow money at a very low interest rate, almost 1%, from the youth fund, from women fund, so that they can finance their ideas. And they refund back the money with, say, 1%. And the grace period is like 3-4 months. So at the end of the day, they can make it. Only that the information they don't have.
Okay.
Yes.
That's encouraging, and that gives us some hope that you don't have to remain in that cycle where you don't have enough. You are always waiting for the month to come to an end because the money that you had has already gotten finished somewhere along the month. And so there are opportunities that people can tap to,
Yes.
like the government, those initiatives. And I think we may need to encourage our people to look for the information you mentioned.
Yes.
And where do they get this information?
They are all over. If you go to the DC's office, chief's office, all those informations are available. Only that actually our youth and the women, they fear going to these offices because they don't have the confidence to approach these offices to demand. Actually, this is their right. They are supposed to demand it. Wherever you go to any government office, you can demand for your 30% and you are given because it's there, it's available, the funds are available. Once you get an order to do this kind of business, you go to the fund and you are financed without securities. You don't need a collateral to get this money. You just go with that business idea and you are given the money.
Okay.
Yes.
That's quite encouraging. And that reminds me that I have a friend of mine who works with that, I think it's called the Women's Fund. And she told me that you only need to have, I think, a group of about 7 or 8, something like that, or 10, there's a number. And then you have a business plan, business idea.
Yes.
And once you present the business idea, you'll be given the money. That
you are funded straight.
You are funded, and it doesn't ask for any, it's actually zero interest.
Yeah.
It's zero interest. It's only that you're given that period of about, I don't know whether it's 4,
it's 6 months.
Either 3 to 6 months,
Yes.
when you can now start repaying back that loan. And if somebody is quite enterprising, or a group of people, young people, women is enough, enterprising enough, I think 6 months is good enough for people to have gotten some money to start repaying the loan. So there you go, you have an opportunity, my sister, or young people, to make some endeavors or some initiatives where you can make some money for yourself. Now, you had mentioned earlier about investment, that you can only invest because you have some disposable income. How can you differentiate between investment and savings?
Actually, investment and savings go hand in hand. Okay. Especially when you are earning some money, you have to start saving. Once you start saving, you have to invest this money to assist you in the future. For you to live a happier life in the future, you must get an investment which can bring about some income, especially at your old age. Because at your old age, maybe you don't have somebody who can take care of you. It's your investment which can help you actually. So once you start saving, the savings can be turned into an investment. You can invest in stocks, you can invest in real estate, you can invest in plots of land. In the future, once they appreciate, you'll get some money to keep you going for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's assume I have been saving some money. And it's somewhere, probably in in form of cash, probably in an account, or shares somewhere, um, and or even a chama has given me some money.
Yes.
How do I decide this is how I want to invest this money? Let's say I have some cash and I want to really make this money, because my understanding of investment is a venture that will start yielding in a consistent way some income for you. So how do I turn this amount of money that I have into that venture, into that investment, that project that will bring me, and then where do I start even?
Depending on the amount of money that you have saved, you can actually involve a financial advisor to advise you on the most available profitable ventures, or you can, on your own, you can start investing on your own without involving any financial advisor. Because actually, if you involve a financial advisor, it means you pay him. There is some fee you have to pay him. But if you have time that you can invest yourself, you can start looking for opportunities available in the market, then you can manage the money yourself. Yes.
Okay. So a financial advisor, and I want to believe you don't have to go for advisors who will charge you. It could be a friend or even a relative.
Yeah, you can have a financial advisor who is a relative.
Yes.
You can have a financial advisor who is a friend. But mostly you have to pay a price for it, because if you maybe want somebody to assist you in searching for maybe some piece of land somewhere, maybe you have to fuel his car. Maybe you have to fuel his car. Maybe you have to buy ranch. So in that process, at least there's some little price you have to pay.
Okay.
You cannot say that 100% you free. No.
Okay.
There's a price to pay for anything that you want to do, and you must be prepared to pay the price. Yes.
Thank you. I think that helps, because sometimes we don't have any thought or idea of how to go about it in terms of investing. And most of the people, and I'm one of them, keep wondering which are the most promising or viable businesses. Like in today's Kenya, what are some of the businesses that somebody can venture into and at least have some level of guarantee of success? And somebody doesn't have a lot of money. Let's say somebody has only, 100,000, 50,000, 200,000. That's the much money they have. Where can they put that little money so that they can be assured they are not throwing their money into the drain? Just some examples of good way of investing in our context in Kenya today.
It all depends on the amount of money that you've saved. So like you've said, if you have maybe like 100,000 Kenya shillings, you can start a vegetable shop, tomatoes, onions, and have a small candy shop, a kiosk. If maybe you have some money which you can buy, maybe things like washing machines for cars, you can start a car wash, you can start an M-Pesa. There's several small businesses that you can do with little money, and you will grow big.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't have to have millions?
No, you don't have to have millions for you to succeed. You can start with whatever little you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's why you can hear people say, I started charcoal business. Charcoal business, you can buy 5 sacks of charcoal. You sell in pieces of like 2 kilos. And again, you hear they made it. People started businesses like groundnuts in Chugu. From there he grew into a big shop.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the resilience that you have. How much are you interested in this kind of business? if you fear, or maybe you are afraid that you are not going to make it, you'll never make it. But start without fearing, and you will succeed.
Good, and that reminds me that we have a, I read a story yesterday in the newspaper. I can't remember which paper. It must be either Standard or Nation, of a man somewhere in, I think, Emuhaya. There is a place called Emuhaya. He actually came from Nairobi, went to the village, and he started planting seedlings. You know the way people, even like these people you see on the roadsides, they are selling seedlings, and that's how he started. And he said how the business picked up, and before he knew, he was making some little money, and then he opened a food kiosk. He was selling mostly refreshments and snacks, together with his seedlings. And then it grew. He expanded it. He made a restaurant. Now it's actually it's a joint where people go to eat, and there are even lodgings. I mean, you can actually have. There are rooms where people can spend. He was saying how even travelers stop there to spend the night, and he's very rich now. Actually, he was saying that he's a millionaire in the village, and it has taken him about 10 years now that movement from seedlings or to where he is today. And I think that's what you're saying. People sell njugu and charcoal,
M-Pesa shops,
car wash.
They make a lot of money.
Even those who sell sweets, I see people selling handkerchiefs in town, and you just wonder how much they make. But the fact that they come every day tells you they make some good money. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think those are very nice ideas, and you don't have to be a millionaire. The little money you have is what you start with. Let's come to a very common issue, and which is life to us in this COVID-19 situation. Emergency funds. Is there a way? One, do we even have emergency fund, personal emergency funds, and how do we deal with emergencies financially?
Supposing you have some income and maybe you have a gain for employment, or you are in a business and you make money out of that business, after doing the necessities, back the money, the business, you put some money aside for maybe your children's school fees, maybe for unforeseen sicknesses, for unforeseen emergencies. You can put some money aside once you have some money, especially when you have some disposable income. But if your money is for subsistence purposes, you will never have an emergency fund. An emergency fund is only applicable to those people who have some extra money, some which they can put aside for maybe unforeseen things. After investments, after savings, you can have again some percentage of your income put aside in another account or in another fund for unforeseen things. That's what we can call an emergency fund. That maybe a relative can be sick, you can tap into that fund and remove some money to assist, or your children, or even for yourself. You can even start budgeting for a car for a long period of time. You can be putting money aside, even for building a home.
Can put your mic straight.
Yes.
Like.
Even for putting them, just budgeting for something for the future. That's what you can call an emergency fund.
Okay. So in case of emergencies, and somebody doesn't have that disposable income, and say there is, for instance, there is a sickness in the house, or some losses of a kind, how how does one go about it? How would you advise somebody to deal with that situation in their lives?
It is really difficult in our context, especially African context. We normally don't plan for any eventualities. What we normally do is we handle the situation as it comes.
Yes.
You know, the key word here is disposable income. If you don't have a disposable income, you cannot create an emergency fund. Actually, it's only applicable to those people who have disposable income. Okay. The money that is over and above what you can spend for necessities.
Okay.
If you don't have that money, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Yes, to create an emergency fund.
Okay.
Yes. So normally when somebody gets a problem, or your children don't go to school, or maybe debt has occurred in your home, you depend on relatives and friends to assist. Yes.
Thank you.
But it's something which we should actually think about it when especially you are in employment, when you have good income, you must put money aside for an emergency fund. It will assist you in the future. You can put your money in an insurance. You can create an insurance account for your children, for your wife, for your business, even for fire. You know, your house can even catch fire, and you will be stranded. So if you have such kind of an insurance, then it will assist you. Yes, to cover for the losses.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bwana Sakini. We truly appreciate for your input and your wisdom and insight on this area of finances and investment. And I know, dear ones, we have learned a lot today, this lunch hour, even as we look forward to invest and to look forward to the future. You know, save and invest for the future when we'll be old, or when our children will be old and the demands, financial demands will be high. And may the Lord help us even as we go out to make wealth as we are desiring and as we are praying. So the Lord bless you so much. And we continue to invite you to tune in for the rest of the week, this Men's Week here at PCG. And tomorrow we'll be dealing with the issue of fatherhood. So you don't want to miss that one. And I invite you, all of you, men, women, young people, to be part of this week. And the Lord will bless us together. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Amen.